The Nevada highway stretched endlessly under the fading orange sky, empty and unforgiving. 17-year-old Lily stood near a broken mile marker, her fingers clenched tightly around the strap of her worn backpack. Dust clung to her shoes, and the desert wind carried a chill that sank into her bones. Just 2 days ago, she had believed she was escaping a broken home and stepping into freedom. The outlaws who found her online had promised excitement, protection, and a new life on the road. But promises, she now understood, were easy to make and even easier to break. They had stopped the car suddenly that afternoon, arguing in low, angry voices. One of them tossed her bag onto the roadside and told her to get out. No explanation, no apology. The car sped away, leaving behind nothing but tire smoke and silence. Lily waited for hours, hoping they would return. They never did. As darkness crept in, fear settled deep in her chest. Every sound, the rustle of desert brush, the distant cry of an animal, felt like a threat. She hugged her knees and tried to stay calm, reminding herself that panic wouldn't help. Cars passed occasionally, but none stopped. Some slowed, then accelerated, disappearing into the night like her hope. She thought about turning back, about calling someone, but her phone battery had died hours ago. All she had left were thoughts she couldn't escape and regrets she wished she could undo. Tears slipped down her face, not loud or dramatic, just quiet and constant. She felt small, invisible, and painfully alone. Then she heard it, a low rumble, distant at first, like thunder rolling across the desert. The sound grew louder, stronger, until it became unmistakable, the roar of motorcycles. Lily's heart raced. She stood slowly, unsure whether to hide or wave for help. Headlights appeared on the horizon, bright and steady, cutting through the darkness. As the bikes approached, she could make out the silhouettes of riders, leather jackets reflecting faintly in the light. The group slowed when they saw her standing there alone. One by one, the motorcycles came to a stop a few feet away. The engines idled, powerful and intimidating. Lily felt her breath catch. She had heard stories about bikers, especially this group, the Hells Angels. Stories that painted them as dangerous, ruthless, untouchable. One of the riders stepped off his bike. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his beard streaked with gray. He removed his helmet slowly, revealing tired eyes that studied her carefully, not with hunger or anger, but concern. "Hey," he said calmly, keeping his distance. "You shouldn't be out here alone. Where's your family?" Lily swallowed hard. Her voice trembled as she answered, I don't have anywhere to go." The biker glanced back at his crew. No one spoke, but something unspoken passed between them, a silent understanding. Another rider handed him a bottle of water, which he gently offered to her. "Drink," he said softly. "You're safe right now." For the first time since being abandoned, Lily felt something unfamiliar settle over her, relief. The desert was still dark, the road still long, but maybe, just maybe, the sun had barely risen over the Nevada horizon when Lily found herself at the women's shelter, clutching the leather jacket that smelled faintly of motorcycles and exhaust fumes. It was oversized, almost like a protective shield, and she hugged it close as a sense of calm settled over her. The previous night had been surreal, one moment abandoned on a desolate highway, the next wrapped in the unexpected kindness of strangers who had more of a reputation for toughness than tenderness. But now, safe inside the shelter, she could finally breathe without fear. The shelter was modest but warm, with pale yellow walls decorated with children's artwork and motivational posters. Volunteers moved quietly between rooms, offering smiles, tea, and reassurance. One woman named Clara greeted Lily personally, kneeling to meet her eye to eye. "You're safe here now," Clara said softly, "and we're going to make sure you have everything you need." Lily nodded, overwhelmed by the stark contrast to her life on the highway. Even so, memories of the bikers lingered, vivid and comforting. Mark's calm voice, the way his eyes seemed to see her without judgment, and the silent strength of the crew, it all felt like a lifeline she hadn't known she was clinging to. She realized that night had changed her. For the first time, she understood that help could come from the most unexpected places. People could be frightening on the outside but gentle and protective on the inside. Later that morning, Clara helped Lily settle into a small room, complete with a bed, clean sheets, and a small bookshelf. She encouraged Lily to write down her story if she wanted, explaining that sharing her experiences could help process the trauma and guide her next steps. Lily sat by the window, the jacket draped over her shoulders, and began to write, starting with the day she had been left on the highway and ending with the moment the bikers had rescued her. Each word was a mixture of fear, relief, and growing hope. By afternoon, the shelter had arranged for her to meet a counselor who specialized in helping teens affected by abandonment and exploitation. Lily felt hesitant at first, unsure if she could open up, but the counselor's gentle questions and patient listening gradually made her feel safe. She spoke about the outlaws who had betrayed her, the loneliness that had settled deep inside, and the strange sense of family she had found with the Hells Angels. Talking about it aloud made the emotions tangible, but also lighter, as if the act of sharing them released a part of the weight she had carried for days. As the evening approached, Lily looked out the window at the fading sun, thinking about Mark and the crew. She wondered if she would ever see them again, but more importantly, she realized she didn't need to fear the road ahead. They had shown her that even in a world that could be cruel and unpredictable, there were people who would step in and protect the vulnerable. For the first time in a long while, Lily allowed herself to feel a spark of optimism. She was alone no longer, not entirely, and maybe, just maybe, her life was ready for a new beginning, wouldn't end the way she had feared.